All right, turn the page. Customer's return on investment. Now we're on page 3. Okay, I just did that for you. That's the customer's return on investment. If they buy a nicer vehicle with more equipment, are they going to get part of that money back when they trade or sell it? Yeah, they're going to get part of that money back. Usually it's around 50%. Okay? Next page. Reduced to the ridiculous. I just did that. Okay? It's $600 a month for all this, but $20 a day, and when you factor in the return on investment, it's only $10 a day. That's called reduced to the ridiculous. Bi-weekly payments. I've never used this, and I didn't usually include this in my workbook, but I've been told, especially by used car salespeople, that this is an extremely effective way to justify a payment. It might sound like something like this. If Ellen was my customer, I'd say, Ellen, how often do you get paid each month? Twice? Okay. You're looking at a $600 a month payment. That's a lot of money, isn't it? How would you like your car payment to be $300? Here's what lots of my customers do. They just pay $300 each time they get paid. That way, it's a little less painful. And here's what happens when you do that. You end up making 13 payments a year as opposed to 12, which means you pay off the vehicle faster and you reduce the interest that you pay. You reduce the finance charges. Again, I've never used that, but I'm told by lots of salespeople that it helps the customer say yes. All right?
Even though it's the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. But they actually end up they do pay it off earlier, and they do save some interest. Basic math. Tell me the payment's too high.
Payment's too high.
Justin, everything's too high. You picked out a beautiful vehicle. The payment's nothing more than basic math. I need you to pick a payment. Okay? Market-based pricing. I think I just did that on video. Market-based pricing. Carlos, the payment is a function of the price of the vehicle. And here's how we price our vehicles. We use market-based pricing, the same type of pricing that Walmart uses, same type of pricing that gas stations, grocery stores, Delta Airlines, Marriott hotels. We match every vehicle we have in our inventory up with every other like vehicle in a 300-mile radius, and we're going to always be at or below market. If our price hadn't been attractive, you wouldn't be here, would you? No. We are at or below market every time, and the payment's a function of that, and I need you to okay this right here. So I give you an explanation and then reclose. All right, the next two are somewhat complicated. I'm going to send you videos on how I do them. They're really, really, really effective. One is, do you have life insurance?
No.
You don't. Whole life or term? Okay, there's two types of life insurance policies. I've got term. I'll never see a penny. Okay? When I die, my heirs or the beneficiaries will see the money. I won't ever see a thing. My wife has a whole life policy. She's got a death benefit, but I also build cash value in her policy every time I make a premium payment. Okay, right now I could cash the policy in for $10,000 with her being alive, or I could borrow against it. All right? When someone makes a car payment or a truck payment, they're building cash value in their vehicle. It would look something like this. What's that payment right there? $1,483?
$1,438.
$1,438. So what you're telling me, Justin, is you want to put $5,000 down, but you don't want to pay $1,438.
Correct.
You could, you don't want to, correct? All right, $1,438 at 84 months for a $4,000 vehicle. Justin, what I'm going to say next is going to sound a little crazy, but it's the truth. You're not going to pay $1,438 to drive this vehicle. You'll pay that to own it, but it's going to cost you significantly less to drive it. There are certain things everybody knows. For example, everybody knows this truck is going to depreciate, right? Okay, it's going to depreciate. The good news is the vehicles aren't depreciating nearly as fast as they used to, but it will depreciate. But what most people don't know is that there's a savings element to your truck payment, meaning every time you make that payment, and I know this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to write a $1,438 check. You don't want to sign it. You don't want to make it out to a lender, and you don't want to send it to a lender. Right? But that's what it's going to take to own the vehicle, but you're not going to pay nearly that much to drive the vehicle. Because when you make that 84th payment, Justin, what comes back to you in the mail a couple weeks later?
Title.
And it is a free and clear title with just your name on it. Now the question I've got for you is, 7 years from now, you've driven this truck like you intend on driving it. You've used it like you intend on using it. You haven't crashed it, you haven't trashed it, but you haven't treated it special. What do you think this $84,000 vehicle will be worth when you make that last payment?
I don't know. What did it say?
Ballpark me? Think it'll be worth like 30%?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good guess, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably fairly conservative. So that's about $24,000. So 7 years from now, you've been making your $1,438 payments. They've been painful, I understand, but you get used to them pretty quickly. I wonder how much of this is coming back to you. Open up your calculator on your phone. Divide 24,000 by 84.
25, 71 cents.
That's actually 286. We'll round it up. Do you know what that 286 represents?
Enlighten me.
Every time you send 1438 to the lender, metaphorically speaking, $286 is flowing straight back to your title. So, 1438 minus 286 is 2511. Justin, you're only going to pay $1,152 a month to drive that vehicle. You're not going to pay $1,438. I need you to okay that right there.
Makes sense.
Never seen it that way.
Nobody.
It's like a savings account.
Carlos, it's exactly what it is. Carlos, I was in the business 37 years before I ever saw this, and no person in the car business ever showed it to me. I learned it from the general manager of a Harley-Davidson store. He showed me how to do this, and I've shown this to car people all over the country for the last 7 years. 8 years now. And nobody in the car business has ever seen it before. It is the best payment justification strategy there is, but let me tell you when it won't work. It won't work if the customer can't make the gross payment.
You just can't make it.
If they can't make that, the rest of it's all moot. Okay? So if they can't make it, where was our mistake? Number 3
Vehicle
up there,
selection.
vehicle selection. All right? And then the last one in here is the negative equity. Let's say you bring out this sheet and my payment is 9 here. Here, keep going. Go to
Yeah, negative, right?
pay. Yeah,
Page 8.
yeah. Page 8.
Justifying
Yeah.
payment when customer suffers from negative
Yep.
equity.
Yep. Let's say that you want me to pay $900 a month for whatever vehicle I'm buying. I'm buying a Tahoe. Okay. And I had $5,000 worth of negative equity.
That's an extra 100.
Thank you. So what's my real payment for the Tahoe?
1,000.
No.
Oh, then the 100 is in the 9 and the 800.
No, it'd be 800. Okay? So you point this out to the customer, and then you give them an either or close. I'd say, Carlos, look, I know you don't want to pay 900. You can, but you don't want to. But please recognize this: you ask us to pay off your vehicle. We're doing that. Okay? You owe $5,000 more than it's worth. Not your fault. Market dropped. All right? It happens. So you can do this one of two ways. A, if you want $100 a month less payment, which would make it about $800, you just need to add $5,000 to your down payment, or leave your $5,000 where it is, live with the $900, which you'll quickly get used to.
And sign right here.
Which one works best for you? That's how you do that. That's what that whole page does right there. Cool? All right, questions? Ellen, has this been worth your while? Mm-hmm. Have you learned anything? Mm-hmm. Do you think you're going to make more money? Even though you got everything you want already?
Hopefully.
Okay.